put in my mic. Otherwise, there's no audio. Welcome! It's 8 p.m. European time. It's November 20th and 2019. Let's start the show. Good evening. I must say, there's quite a lag on Twitch. Let's dim the lights a little bit. I had to run to be on time. Get some things organized. It's Wednesday evening, and this is a different stream compared to what I used to do. Wow, there's about a minute delay on my Twitch stream manager. Let's see if I can refresh that. Let's see if that gives me an update. Low bit stream. Okay, today we are going to look some more at Blazor. See where we left off. I think 2 weeks ago, because last week we've looked at the Fish Studio Online. Let me get a link. Build your first Blazor app. Copy. I believe we did this in Fish Studio. Now let's check. I have to refresh my memory. To-do list. I think it was the to-do list. Let's see how this looks. Solution Explorer. Loading. Okay. Lower the music a bit. This is, I think, the Blazor site that we started 2 weeks ago. Let's run this. F5. You have to keep me awake tonight because I was early up this morning, 5 a.m. because I had to drive into the office. And didn't have much sleep last night. There it is, localhost 44363. Boom. Do more with Microsoft Edge. Change button the default. No. Not now. About. Okay. Let's go back and close the about page. Not really an about page. And try to find the documentation where we left off. I think this one was the one as we worked on. Check. Oops. That's the wrong window. This one. Let's see what we did last week. Last week, build your first app. That's this one. Components. Create a routing. Build a to-do list. That's what we did. Yeah, we completed this one. So we're now into components. Oh. Create and use ASP.NET Core Razor components. UI component is defined using HTML, dynamic rendering logic, blah blah, Razor. Members of core of the component class are defined in a code block. Yes, the code block. We have a code block. This one. Let's kill the application that's running. This one. And go back. Component members can be used as part of components rendering logic, C#. For example, C# field is rendered by prefix and add to the field name. The following example evaluates and renders. Heading font style to the CSS properties value for font style. Heading text to the content of the heading 1. Component members can be used components to start with add code, yeah. String, heading, font style, italic, yeah. H1 heading text. So if we put in something like this on the home page, Solution Explorer, let's pin this. This is the index page. Welcome to your app, yeah. So let's copy this one in. Copy. With some code, heading, font style, italic. Heading text, put on your new Blazor. No pun intended. Found markup language with unexpected name counter. If this is meant to be a component, but if I remove this, why is this all of a sudden given an error? Counter, increment amount, oops. Why is showing? Oh, it's not. I don't think it was incorrect. Next, running at F5. Heading font style, heading font style. Let's see if the order is important. There you have it. Put on your new Blazor. Heading font, italic, bold. You need to reload it. No. Is bold not allowed? Google font style. Yeah, that's font weight. Font style. Weight. I would expect it to become bold without changing it. Now it's bold. Wow. Style. Italic. With a lower I. I'm not sure if that's needed. Run. It doesn't look like it's showing hot loading. Yeah. Okay, back to the tutorial. After component initially rendered, the component regenerates its render tree in response to events, then compares to the components are ordinary C classes and can be placed anywhere within the project. Components that produce web pages usually resides in pages folder. Non-page components are frequently placed in the shared folder. Non-page components, shared folder, shared folder. What's in the main layout? Just the body and a menu. Okay. Let's see. Components here, blah blah blah. The shared folder, custom folder added to the project. To use the custom folder. Oh, where is it? Custom folder. Add custom folder name namespace to either the parent component or to the app's imports razor file. Is there an imports razor file in here? This one. Okay. For example, the following namespace makes a components folder. Makes components in a components folder available when apps roots is available is web application. When the apps roots namespace is web application, is that the main namespace? How do I know what the main namespace is here? Using web application components. Following namespaces make the components in components folder available. Integrate components into Razor pages and MVC apps. Use components with existing Razor pages and MVC apps. There's no need to rewrite existing pages or views to use Razor components. When the page of view is rendered, components are pre-rendered at the same time. To render a component from a page of view, use the render component async helper method. So that's just from a plain Razor page, I think. While page in view can use components, the converse isn't true. Components can't use view and page specific scenarios such as partial views and sections. To use logical view, come on, break my tongue. To use logic from partial view in a component, factor out the partial view logic into a component. For more information on how components are rendered and component state, see the Blazor hosting model. Use components. Components can include other components by declaring them using HTML syntax. The markup for using the component looks like an HTML tag where the name of the tag is a component type. Attribute binding is case sensitive. For example, bind is valid, but bind with a capital B is invalid. The following markup in index.razor renders heading component instance. Index.razor. Well, let's kill this. Remove this. Following markup heading component. And there's components heading components Razor. So that needs folder, add folder, rename, come on, it doesn't want me to rename, come on. Why is it not renaming? Oh, is it still running? It isn't. It is. Wow, okay. Go back. Yeah. Components. So it's kind of strange. It does allow me to put it in, but not to have it renaming. Index.razor in this following markup. Copy, put it in the index.razor. Why is it indenting? Oh, wow. Then copy the component. What's all in here? Create. What's the name of this? Razor. Heading component Razor. Create. New file. Razor. Yeah. Razor component. And now don't make the mistake to do a lowercase, make that header, was it header? Heading component dot razor. Paste everything in. System globalization, the using directive is like this. Components can have component parameters which are defined using public properties of the component class with the parameter attribute. Use attributes to specify arguments for component in markup. Copy this, make that child component razor. Add, no, not controller, come on. Add new item, razor, child component, class, panel default, panel heading, title, child component. I'll click trigger parent component method. Okay. Create a parent component. Add new item, parent component. Like this. Child content, child component razor. I thought we already had a child component. Here. What's the difference? Panel default, trigger panel. Can set the content. These are just demos. That's a different one. Let's first try to show the heading component. To do that, we need to do something like this. Web application components. The question is, what is the default namespace in here? Imports, web application. Found markup element with unexpected heading components. This is, if this is intended to be a component, add using directive for the namespace. Yeah. In this case, counter is in the same folder. Where's the pages? Namespace. These are the namespace to-do. The to-do list is the default, I think. Because there's also shared in here. That's this one. Yeah, so this looks right, like we have the root namespace and the shared is this one. Apparently the pages is not needed. I found markup element. So this is shared. Is there a using somewhere? At using. Yeah, system globalization. This is the only one, and the other one is import. This one, fetch razor. To-do list data. That's this one. So it should do something like this. Where's the index? Page fetch data. And this should be components. Yeah. This looks like it's okay. Let's run this, see if the heading component is in there. Heading. Use italics. Update heading. Oh, really? Is that part of the heading? It is. So the heading component showing welcome to Blazor, and in using italics with the update heading button. Let's look at the heading component in here. Yeah, so there's the style, font style, heading text, and it's binding the checkbox to let's see, this one, update heading is setting the font style to normal or italic. Okay, that looks okay. Now next, let's put the parent and child component in. I wonder how that's working. Components. Component parameters. This is the parent child example. So where's it? Oh, here's the child. Let's see, what's the one that we did? That was the heading component, so that worked. Now we are going to do the parent child like this. This is the child component. And what's in there? A title, child, and unclick. And it's triggering something on the parent. There's the parent. So if we go to the index and now replace the heading component what's the comment thing? Something like this. Also comment this. Insert the parent component. Parent component. Like this. Run this. Parent-child example. Paint title from parent. Content of the child component supplied by the parent component. Trigger parent component method. Blaze a new trail with Blazor. Let's check the code. Where is the code? Parent component. It's nothing more than parent-child example. Passing in a title, panel title from the parent. On click show message. And the message text is in this case still empty. That's what I think. Is still a parent, yeah, parent. Show message. This is triggered on. So what if we put in something in here already? Message text equal hello streamers. Stream viewers, I should say. Viewers. Ask everything in the chat. Let's see if we can initialize this. Oh. Why is that not allowed? Name message text does not exist in the current one. What's this then? Oh, so not allowed. Something like this. I wonder why it's not allowed to just initialize the text, because it's private. No, I don't think so. Let's run this. Now it's initialized. And if I trigger the parent component method, it overrides it. Yes. No. That's not the right command. It is, but it's not showing, I think. Why not? Is this showing? Looks like my events are not working. Is it? There's one. Wow, there's a big delay in here. Let's do this again. Capagen. Wow. Let's time this. 2036. 30 seconds before it shows up in the stream on my monitor. 10 seconds. 20 seconds. 30 seconds. 40 seconds. 50 seconds. There it is. Almost a minute delay between my monitoring preview. Can I check this? No. The stream, however, said it's excellent. Inspector. Let's check the inspector. Oh, come on. Duration. Not much problems over here. Bitrate 2. No delay. Is there a delay in here then? Well, anyway, let's continue with this one. This seems to work properly. So, where's the child component? Child component here. Gets the parameter title. Render fragment is child content. That one. And a callback on click. Child content. And on click. The on click is from the child button. Child button is clicking and then looking back to the parent. It's providing the title that goes into this one. The on click is the show message. This is the callback. Goes into this one, I think. So why is this one put in as a parameter? Interesting. So let's move on to the next example. Child content. Components can set the content of other components. That's what we did, I think. Parent. This is what we did. Child component. This is what we did. Now the following parent component can provide content for rendering child component by placing content in the inside of child component tags. So this is doing the other way around. Is it? Parent. What's the difference here? Let's compare this. Parent component. Is that the first one? Second one. So how is this one different? Page parent component. Parent child example. Show page content from of the child component supplied by parent component. That's what I think this is the same as we have in there. Mr. Text. Show message. So why is that a duplicate? The property receiving the render fragment must be named child content by convention. Okay, so this is by convention. So why are they repeating the component here? Page is parent component. Page is parent component. Exactly the same thing, is it? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay. Attributes, splitting and arbitrary parameters. Params. View or download sample code. There's not much in there. Create and use ASP. Really, this link is not quite working. How to download? Download the ASP repository. Zip. Oh, really? This one is downloading it. No, but I want to do it myself. What's there to learn if you don't do it yourself? Component, parameters, string, title, show message. Oh, it's explaining it. You can have component parameters, use it, attributes. So this is a param in the component. And the parent gives it to the child component. That's child component param1 and the onClick. And the child content, that's by convention, if I'm correct, like this and this one. In the following example, the child component has child content property that represents a render fragment, which represents a segment of the UI to render. The value of child content is positioned in the component's markup where the content should be rendered. The value of child content is received from the parent component and rendered inside the bootstraps panel body. And the parent in this case is this completing content of the child component is supplied by the parent component. So if we run this, child component, so this is in the child, but it's provided by the parent. Trigger a parent component that's part of the child as well, but that's a button, and there's a title in here, but getting in by parameter, and this one is that one. Yeah. That looks promising. So I've components can capture and render additional attributes in addition to components declare params. Additional attributes can be captured in a dictionary and then splattered onto an element when the component is rendered using the attributes razor directive. So this scenario is useful when defining a component that produces markup element that supports variety of customizations. For example, this can be tedious to define attributes separately for input that supports many params. In the following example, the first input element ID uses individual params, uses individual components params, where the second input element use attribute dictionary uses the attribute splatting. Yeah, so you can tear down all the attributes in here and they are pushed in by the dictionary with the attributes property. The type of params must be implemented in an enumerable key value string object with string keys. Using iRead-only direct dictionary string object is an option in this scenario. The rendered input elements using both approaches is identical. The rendered, yeah, they both rendered as this one. To accept arbitrary attributes, define a component param using the parameter, using the parameter attribute with the capture unmatched values property set to true. The capture unmatched values property on parameter allows the parameter to match all in attributes that don't match any other parameter. A component can only define a single parameter with capture unmatched values. A component can only define a single parameter. The property type used to capture unmatched values must be unassignable from dictionary string object with string keys. Enumerable key value pair string objects, or iRead-only dictionary. Also option in this scenario. The position of the attributes relative to the position of elements attributes is important. When attributes are splatted onto the element, the attributes are processed from right to left, last to first. Consider the following example: component that consume a child component. So this is child component. Let's close this one. Copy, paste, rename to copy that in, paste, name additional attributes does not exist. And why is that? Parent component, copy, paste, parent component 2, index, parent component 2, copy, that should say 2, parent child example 2, something like this. Let's rename this one. Oh, wait. Why is this not allowed? Unclosed string with no matching end tag. Something's going on in here. Equals to. Okay, now it's accepted. String object. String object. Oh. This is strange. Let's see, this is a child component 2. Child component 2. Parameter capture matches equals to true. Public dictionary string object. So why is that not right? Let's close this, save, close it and reopen it. Public dictionary string object additional attributes get set. So why is this not allowed? Where's the parent 2? Parent component 2. Don't see what the problem is here. Imports. No, it should be okay. Let's run it. Let's see if it is working. No. So why is this failing then? Imports Blazor. Close all but this. What's the documentation saying about this? The child component's extra attribute is set to attributes. Should be okay. Because this one is the same as this one. Div extra 5, is that in? No. Render div in the parent, that's this one. Parent. Well, wait, this should be child component 2. Like this. Still, extra is 5. This should be in code, isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Child component. See, this is the div. That's the div, so this should be code. Something like this. Yes. And now, why is this still a thing? It's not. Unclosed tag string. Which one is unclosed then? That's not the case. Check back again. Parameter capture unmatched values is true. 2. Save. 5. Yeah. So why is it giving the error in the output window then? Parent child example 2. And this is showing nothing. Where is it? Go to the code. Parent 2. This one. This one. And this is showing child component 2 extra is 10. Child component 2. Div extra is 5. It was showing nothing like this. Come on. Let's see. This one, input. Like this is a child. Extra 10. This extra is 5. Let's see the output of this. There's the body in here. Extra is 5. Attribute is 5. Child component extra is 10. Child component extra attribute is set to the right of attributes. Parent components rendered div contains extra is 5. We pass through the additional attributes because the attributes are processed right to left. In the following example, the order of extra and the attributes is reversed in the child components div. child component extra is 10. If you do the other way around. Okay, let's see if that's true. So go to the child component. Let's put this to the left. Five. View source. Click. Now it says 10. That's quite confusing. If you have a diff 5, extra is 5, then it's put in, capture unmatched values is true. Something else is test. Close. Run it. View source elements. Check this one. No. Check this one. Something else. Test. Oh. So the extra attributes puts in this one and this one. Test and 10. So why is it going from right to left then? It's processing the attributes that way. Are you sure the documentation is right? It's going from right to left. The following example, the order of extra and attributes is reversed in the child components div. The rendered div in the parent components contains an extra 10 when passed through the additional attributes. Data binding. This is a big list, by the way. Component libraries. Create a component library, Razor class library. .NET pack. Snip to Nuzier. NuGet, JavaScript interop, Blazor WebAssembly in preview, supported. What does it say here? Interface JavaScript runtime. Okay, well, let's stay with the components for now. Child components splitting, this one data binding. We're now on data binding. Data binding is both components, DOM elements with bind attribute. Input bind current value. Current value. When the text loses focus, the property value is updated. The text loses focus. Data binding to both components and the DOM elements is accomplished with the bind attribute. Squeaking chair. Bind current value, blah blah blah. When the text box loses focus, the property value is updated. The text box is updated in the UI only when the component is rendered, not in response to changing the property's value. Since the components themselves, render themselves after event handler code executes, property updates are usually reflected in the UI immediately after event handler is triggered. Using bind with the current value property, input bind equals current value is essentially equivalent to input value current value on change. Okay, code private string current value. When the component is rendered, the value of the input comes to the current value property. When the user types in the text box and change element focus on the onChanged event is fired and the current value property is set to the change value. In reality, the code generation is more complex because bind handles cases where type conversions are performed. In principle, bind associates the current value of an expression with value attribute and handles changes using the register handler. In addition to the handling on-change events with the bind syntax, a property of a field can be bound using the events by specifying an add-bind value attribute. Add-bind value attribute with an event param bind value event. Follow example binds the current value for the on-input event. Unlike on-change, which fires with the element loses focus, on-input fires when the value of the text box changes. Unparsed values. When the user provides an unparsable value to that data-bound element, the unparsable value is automatically reverted to the previous value where the bind event is triggered. Consider the following scenario. The input element is bound to an int type with an initial value 123. The update user updates value with 123.45 in the page. It changes the element focus. In the preceding scenario, the element's value is reverted to 123, which is the value 123.45 is rejected in favor of the original value 123. By default, binding applies to the element on changed event bind property of field. Use bind value property of field or bind value event to set a different event. For the on input event, bind value event on input. The reversion occurs after keystroke. Any keystroke that introduces an unparsable value when targeting on input event with the int mount type, a user is prevented from typing a character A. Characters immediately removed, so the user removes immediate feedback where only whole numbers are permitted. Don't use the onInput event, use the default onChange event. Bind property field where an invalid value isn't reverted until an element loses focus. Okay. Use form validation component such as input number or input date. Such as, let's see, try this. Copy on the child component. Stop the page over here. Go back to child component 2. Something like this. Current value. Five. Test 1 3 let's put a way in there to display this like parent component 2. There's nothing in there. What if we take this one and this one, put the input over there, copy, and we put in the current value property. Oh. this. Then on click is the parent one. Message text. So what if I copy this out? And I copy this one out. No. Is the end. This one. So now I'm not passing in the show message, but I want to do this on the client. Now I pass in the show message. No. Copy. Well, this is the parent. Put this on the client as well. Oh. Come on. Copy. Now I have a message text on the client. Initially without anything. Make this current value. Something like this. Let's see. See if I got this right, if I understand it right. Like 12. Oh, and it's not. Wait, I should render parent 1. Close. Where's the index? Parent 1. Save. 5. Oh. It's probably no 1. Not a 1. Should be doing something like this. Yes. Close. Rerun. And it's not showing. Oh wait, I need to trigger 12. And it's still not showing. Wait, let's check. Parent one. This is this one. Showing the message text, but this is this message text. I don't want this in the parent. Also, no need to put this in here because it's all gone. Content of the child component supplied by the parent component. But it's not, is it? Yeah, but what I did do wrong, because now if I do this, child component, content of child component supplied by the parent, that's not the case anymore. It is? Wow. Panel title from parent and content. Oh yeah, that's in the child component. Child component. Oh. Yeah, I should put in child component 2 in here. This is the rendered fragment from the parent. Copy. Component 2, like this. No, wait. This is not right. Component, child component, this one. On click, this should be public on click. Button on click. Yeah, this should be mouse handler. No, click handler. Click handler. On click. Could that be the case? Let's see. Google on click handler Blazor. Working with events. Button on click is lock click, like this. Functions. Also possible with a lambda expression. Blazor. So this should be, if we do it this way, click is add something. Set the onClick attribute. OnClick equals to add nothing, not this one. OnClick lower caps. And why is this? Unclose tag button. Oh, wait. Log click, like on click should be copy on click. No. Child component, oh yeah, that's this one. Yeah. Oh, damn. Save. Oh, wait. Undo, 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 undo. Yeah. Del. Save. Now it's still wrong. Cannot convert to a non-delegate type object. Did you intend to evoke the method? Yeah. Should it be in functions? Functions. I don't know. Current version of Blazor can access any event by on event. Current value, that's current value. On-click mouse events. This is, well, wait. Mouse event args E. Well, that's the case. Cannot convert method group on-click to non-delegate type object. On-click, and this one is, so it changed a little bit, I think. Private void on yes, so take this out again, do this. Take this out, and now do something like this. Private void on yes, blah blah. Gives no error. Message text. Let's try this. Oh, it was already running. Close. Run. Well, it's not. This is not right. I did something wrong here. Close. Let's check the index again. Index, parent component, parent component. That's this one. Child content. That's one child component 2. Oh, wait. This should be child component 1. This was the one. Parent component should be calling parent child component 1. That was the one I changed, I think. Yeah. Run. It's not doing anything. Can I break it? No. Let's check documentation. Title, child content. Child content is a random fragment. This is private void on yes. How hard can it be? Add on click, and that should be add on click equals to this one. On yes, private void on yes, private void on click. Let's try again. It's all a little bit different than the ASP.NET code. There it renders. Current value 12, yes. Yes, it's showing. Test, test, test. Trigger it. Test to string F5. Yes, that's it. There you go. We have a winner. Okay. Well, I must say it's quite confusing, because this is different than the documentation in here, I think. Well, the binding now worked, but let's see, what did we do here? So we have the parent component providing content to the client component. Client component on put into the render fragment. title is put in there. Take that out. So the content of the parent is put in here, the title is put in there. The click handler is collected from this one. And whenever something is put into the input box after clicking the button, that will put the value in the message box. Now let's do not the change it to, let's see, bind current value, private string current value get set. That's the same as we have here. When the text box loses value, the property value is updated. This one is updated, but still is not then put into the message text. Get set. On click, on change, unparsable values. If you create an error there, my property gets set returned. So if I change this, make this one, let's do this and change this one into public my property, message, title, content, don't show it. Oh, copy, control, copy, bind should be then put to my property, copy, bind is my property. So if it fails right now, let's comment this out. Why is this? Parameter does not exist in the current content. Why not? Oh. So start with the parameters, apparently. Oh, it's a point. This was the issue. Yeah. So let's see what happens if I put in 123.45. 123.45. Now exit. It's reverted back. Test. It's not accepted. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's allowed. Yeah. Unparsable values, that's correct. Globalization. Values are formatted for display and parsed using the current culture rule. Format strings. Data binding works with datetime format. Copy. Oh. So if it's not provided, then the date 2021 run this. Come on, let's do it. (2021) is that the format provided? Year, month, date. Yeah, year, month, day. That's correct. 21/1. So what if this should be year, month, day? Yeah, it's like, what's today? Today 2011. Let's make it default 31/12, like the last day of December, and then make this 2019, and then change the parent. First kill this, and now give it as an option, an attribute to the from the parent. That should be called start date equals, and that's saying like 2019, that's today. What's the format of the separator? Dash 11 dash, what's today? 20. Save. Cannot convert int to date time. What's the int? This is not allowed, I think. What's the parent? It is a parent. Parent year. So how do I pass in a complete date? Google passing date Blazor. That's the one that's wearing right now. Date. Date. There's no date in here. Date. Note how to pass a format for date, time. This is the page starting it in, and then current value. Pass date Blazor. Now I need to find how it's done in the parent. Date param Blazor. Is there a date somewhere? Date. How do you pass in a date? It's not in here. I don't know. So this is not allowed. trying to put in a date as a param to my child component on the Razor, but I'm not sure how to pass this in. Bind format. Oh. Start date param Blazor. What you can do is change the first parameter so it's no longer optional. Name the params. Start date is start value. Yeah, you could sneak it in. Date time now, year now, month. Yeah, this is a current date. You can sneak it in, but I don't think that's the code. Come on. Copy. Start date, start value. Well, make it start value equals to at start value. That's picking current year, month 28. Date, time, oh, date time now, day. This should be sneaking it in, but that's not what I want to. I want to do it by hand. Just put in the static. So for me it's cheating, like putting it into the code. Yeah, so input bind, add bind. Let's look at the child. This. Yeah, this is sneaking it in, but this is not what I want. I just want something like, give me a date somewhere. 2019 11/21, like this. But this is not accepted. Static date param Blazor. If anyone from the viewers can tell me how I put in just a date to pass in as a parameter. How do I pass a parameter? Datetime picker. How hard can it be? Yeah, this is also a variable. Can't stand it. Specific format. This is an input, but I'm not showing an input. Come on. Input type date, no. Data binding, no. Input, yeah. Google Blazor component date parameters. Not data, date. Date. I can pass it in by putting individual items in. top. And this is an input again. Input type. Yeah, you could sneak it in as well. Let's see. Oh, this is what I did. Twenty 11. Let's force it to 19 just for kicks. At start value. Oh. Let's make sure the caps are matching. Twenty 19. That's correct. But I still don't know how to pass in a start value just in plain text. Nothing. Blazor help website. Yeah. Using date. Label for date. Date input. Yeah, this is an input. I want to put a static date in there. Don't you hate this? Pass static date Blazor to a Blazor component. I really don't know. It's taking way too long. Result for pass static date without quotes. I think it's just not possible. If I look at this, it's called an attribute. Date attribute. Pass date attribute Blazor component. Static. Maybe I should ask it on Twitter quickly, maybe. How do I pass 2019 print screen. Oh, so let's make this smaller. Click print screen from here. Share file. Downloads. Static. Take date. Put an image in my tweet. Downloads. Static date. Dare to ask. Tweet. So I put it in Twitter, in the Twitterverse, and I'm completely done with this. I don't like it at all. I can do this like add start value, but that's not what I want. I think next time we just go try to update a website or something. What if I create a form? Well, I'll do that next time. This took way too long, so closing up now with some parent-child examples in Blazor. Move to the main screen. Yeah, no answer yet. So this was some basic Blazor stuff where I've been working on some parent-child actions in Blazor. I think it's very capable in doing a lot of things, but the basic things like putting a date in there is not that intuitive. So let's see if the Twitterverse can provide me an answer with that. So maybe next time we start building something like a website just to get going and see if we can put things in practice. So let's end the stream for today, and because it's a long day for me, I will be back tomorrow morning at 6:45 Europe time. That's about I think 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific and 1 o'clock Eastern a.m. and do some more office development there. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, just follow me to see the next stream, and until next time, bye bye.